In the last lecture, we talked about the poem, the father of the Ballad of Father Gilligan. So, in the first part of the poem, in the first half of the poem, we saw how the father Gilligan, being an old priest, was tired of offering services and keeping on vigil. So, finally, he realized that he has committed a mistake. He complained to the God that he is not getting a rest. He is not getting a respite of a moment. And in that mood, he fell asleep, and in next morning, he got up. When he woke up, he realized that he was expected to be at the home of the person who was on the deathbed. So, that night, he fell asleep, and that was a sound sleep. So, when he reached at the house of the lady, he realized what happened in that night. So, we are going to talk about, we are going to see the remaining stanza of the poem, what was the reaction of the lady, and how the old priest realized the folly or the mistake he has committed by complaining to God that he is not getting a rest, he is not getting a peace, and he is always facing a lots of problem because most of the persons are either dying or the most of the persons are dead. Almost half of his flock is dead, and rest of the persons are suffering from different kind of illness. So the stanza is, Mauran, the man has died. While I slept on the chair, he rose his horse out of its sleep and rode with little care. So this stanza tells us about when Father Gilligan woke up from his sleep, he realized that he was expected to offer the prayer the persons who was about to die, and now it is too late. So he believes that, or he thinks that the person might have passed away, and his words suggest how he is feeling a pain at his heart, and hurriedly he ride on his horse and decided to go to see to the sick person. He rode now as he never rode, by rocky lane and fen. This sick man's wife opened the door. Father, you come again. So father reached at the house of the sick man. The father was expected there to be in the evening to offer the prayer, but instead of going there in the evening, father reached that house the next morning, and the wife of the person who was sick, she opened the door, she opened the gate, and she uttered a sentence. She said to father, Father, you are once again here. Now father was shocked to listen or get this sentence from, or the words from the wife, because father wasn't there. Father was in his home, father was taking a rest, and now father realized that the God in his absence has sent one of his angels to do the work of the priest. Now the father says that God is not ignoring him. God is taking care of everyone. God is always with him, and it shows the omniscient nature of God. So Father Gilligan realized the mistake he has committed. He had complained earlier that he is not getting a rest, he is not getting a peace, and here the persons are dying. He is either has to offer the prayers or either has to be at the burial site. So Father Gilligan, when he heard the words from the wife of the person, Father Gilligan realized that it was work of God. God had sent one of the angels to perform the religious rites. Then in the next sentence, and is the poor man dead? He cried. The Father Gilligan asked the lady or woman about the health of the person. He asked whether the person is dead or alive. So Father Gilligan does not know what happened to the sick person. Father Gilligan wasn't there to offer a prayer. The priest wasn't there to offer to prayer. And he asked a gentle question. He asked a question about the health of the person or the husband of a lady. He died an hour ago. The woman answered that her husband has passed just now. An hour ago he has left this world. The old priest Peter Gilligan in a grief swayed to and fro. So old priest became very sad. The old priest was unable to stand steady because he has realized that he could not come there to offer prayers. It was his duty to be there as a priest to offer prayers, and he became sad because he could not perform his duty. When you were gone, he turned and died, as merry as a bird. In the next stanza, the lady or the woman told the Father Gilligan that after the departure of Father Gilligan, her husband died peacefully. See, in fact, the Father Gilligan wasn't there to offer a prayer. Father Gilligan wasn't there to console that person who is about to die. Now the Father Gilligan came to know the greatness of the God. So Father Gilligan was answered by the lady that he passed just an hour when he had left her home. The old priest Peter Gilligan, he nailed him at that word. So Father Gilligan once again knelt and started to offer prayer. He realized that the God has performed his duty. Father Gilligan wasn't there to offer a prayer. In place of Father Gilligan, God has sent somebody, or it may be the work of an angel by the angel of the God, to offer a prayer and to help the man to die peacefully. He hath made the night and stars for souls who tire and bleed. Now Father Gilligan realized the greatness of the God. The Father Gilligan, or the poet here, tells us about the work of the God. The God is the creator of the universe. God is the organizer of the universe. The God has made stars. God has created the skies, and in order to console human beings, there are stars in the sky. After that, sent one of his great angels down to help me in my need. So Father Gilligan realized here that the God had sent one of his angels from the heaven in place of the priest, because the priest was tired, the priest was unable to perform his religious duties, because everywhere he is expected to offer prayers. Almost all of his parishioners or the persons from the chair are either dead or sick, and so the Father Gilligan was the only person who was wanted everywhere. And when he became tired, he had complained to God that everywhere the persons are dying or either sick, and I am expected to be there to offer prayers, and it is not possible for me to go everywhere to offer prayers. And when he fall asleep, in his absence, the God had sent one of the angels at the house of the woman where her husband was about to die. The angel of the God offered prayer there, and the person died peacefully like a bird. After that, he who is wrapped in purple robes. So purple robes here refers to the God with planets in his care, had pity on the least of things, asleep upon a chair. So here Father Gilligan tells us that the God is always attentive. God is always taking care of human beings, and God never ignores a person. So God responded to the prayer of the Father Gilligan. The Father Gilligan was expecting a rest, and God provided him rest by sending one of his angels to offer prayer. So the moral or the gist or the central idea or the central theme of the poem can be that God is omnipotent, God is omniscient, and God is merciful. God is always with human beings, and God is there to help human beings when they want God to be with them.